أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, welcome to lesson 16 of the program called Tarteel. You may remember that last time we covered one important rule about iqlab, changing of noon sakin or tanween to mim sakin. Okay. Now you can see Surah Al-Humaza, and focusing on the text of Surah Al-Humaza, there are 4 questions which I like to ask you. First, what is the difference between noon sakin and tanween? Now, there are some words which have been highlighted with blue, green, and red. So, what is the difference between noon sakin and tanween? Yes, Cham?
The difference between noon sakin and tanween is noon sakin is when the letter have jasam on it, and tanween is when the huruf have 2 harfat on it, that's kasratain, dammatain, and fatahatain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So any when noon has a jazm over that, it means noon sakin. Okay, it's a mute noon, and any letter having 2 fatha, 2 kasra, and 2 dhamma, fathatan, kasratan, and dhammatan. Okay, it is called tanween. Okay. Is there any difference in their sounds?
No.
No sound.
No difference.
Okay. So all they are producing a nasal sound.
Yeah.
Okay. To which rule of recitation does the smaller meme point to? For example, verse number 5. Kalla layumbadhanna fil hutama. Okay. Now here, smaller meme, you can find a smaller meme here in the text of the Holy Quran. Okay. So what's the significance and what is the meaning and indication of this smaller meme?
If after a noon sakin or tanween, there is a ba, so then the noon sakin becomes like a meme sound. And so this is the meme sound.
It is producing meme sound.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So this is called iqlab.
Iqlab.
Okay. Now, 4th question, to which rule of recitation does the smaller noon point to? You see that we have seen smaller meme, and it is an indication of a changing of letter in pronunciation, iqlab. Okay. Now here is smaller noon, an-noon as-saghira, smaller noon. What's the do you know about that one? For example, here look, and if you open the Holy Quran, where Surah Al-Humaza and many other places, but this time we are focusing Surah Humaza, Surah Al-Humaza. You can find this smaller noon beneath alif, under alif, mute alif. Okay, and there should be some rule about that one. Okay, because in some places, in some words of the Holy Quran, we find this smaller noon, and in this lesson we are going to explore this rule in detail. First of all, junction of 2 mute letters in 2 words. In many places in the Holy Quran, we find that when we are joining 2 words, sometime one word is ending on a letter which is mute. Mute means there is no haraka on that one. It's not voweled. No fatha, no dhamma, no kasra on that one. Like for example here in the first example, tahtiha, Ha with fatha followed by alif, madda. Alif of elongation.
Yeah.
And if we pronounce this first word, we will be pronouncing tahtiha. This alif will be pronounced. But when we are joining together these two words, then this alif will be dropped. Now you can see that junction of two mute letters. Now in this case, this alif is mute, sakin, and this alif next word and the first letter of the next word, the second word, is also without any haraka, without any vowel, short vowel, fatha, kasra, dhamma. When we are joining together, then this mute letter is dropped, and the ha, which is with fatha, that straightway joined to sakin with the lam sakin, tahtihal anhar. And similarly, if we go to there are three columns, and in the first column the example have been given two words where the first word is ending on an alif. The second example here, wa qala, lam followed by alif, complete word. Now when we are joining with the next word, combining the two words in one in recitation, then this qala alif is dropped. Okay? And we say waqala alhamdu. Now with the example of waw, whereas waw is silent, and the next word, the first letter of the next word is also silent, the combination of two mute letters in two words, the first word will be pronounced wa, one word, second word aqimu al wazna, the third word. Joining together, this waw is dropped. Wa aqimul wazna. We can't say wa aqimul wazna, that would be wrong. Waw madda will be dropped. And another example, wa atu, many times wa aqimus salata wa atu zakata in the Holy Quran. Okay, wa atu, and the second word is az-zakata. When we are joining together, how would we going to pronounce that one?
Wa atu zakata.
Okay, so it means if we say wa atu zakata, that will be wrong. Wa atu zakata. And the third example, the first word amilu, wow. There is another issue that why this blank alif has come, but this waw, that has been highlighted with red color. So amilu, and we're joining together. Say please.
Amilu solihat.
Good. And in the third column, these are the example wa, la, tasqi, and this ya will be dropped when joining with the next word. This letter is mute, next letter is mute, and we are joining wala tasqil harth, wala tasqil hartha, or harth, al harth. Otherwise we say wala tasqi. Joining together, how would you pronounce?
Wala tasqil harth.
Good. The second next example, wama yastawi. Joining with the next word, wama yastawil a'ma. Okay, give me an example.
وما يستوي الأعمى.
Okay, next one, similar. Hal yastawi. This ya will be dropped when joining with the next word. So how would you pronounce?
هل يستوي الذين
هل يستوي الذين. Okay, good. So we come to this understanding that when joining together two words, where one word is ending with a mute letter, and there is a mute letter in the beginning of the next word or the second word, then the first mute letter is dropped. Okay, and this is some examples. There are many examples, but keeping in mind the al-huruf al-madda, the letters of elongation, alif, waw, ya, we have chosen these examples. Now, there are some places where junction of tanween and hamzatul wasl. First of all, we have to understand what is hamzatul wasl. We know that tanween is a fathatan, kasratan, dammatan, two strokes, two slanting strokes on a letter. They produce nasal sound. It is called tanween. But there are some places where alif is written, but it is not pronounced in between during the recitation of a combined words. For example, here, look, wanada nuhun, and the next word is alif without any haraka, without any fatha, kasra or dhamma. When we are joining together, this alif will be dropped, this hamzatul wasl will be dropped, it will not be pronounced. But if we are starting any word from this one, then there should be some haraka on that one. Now, as a rule, we know that two mute letters cannot be joined together. Two mute letters, it is impossible to join two mute letters, two sakin letters in pronunciation. Now, here, wanada nuhun, this tanween, nuhun, has produced a mute letter, tanween. But basically, this hun, nuhun, is equal to ha with dhamma and noon with skoon. That's why nuhun, the sound has become mute, is become silent, is stopped. And the next one, alif, is also without any haraka, and next following by a ba with skoon. Now, nuhun, if we are joining together, the previous letter must be with some haraka. Okay? Now, that's why this noon is written for the easiness of the reciter. In the text of the Holy Quran, which is printed in Arabic countries like Syria, Egypt, and other Arabian countries, this smaller noon is not printed there because they know how to join, what to do to join. In joining two words, there is common practice. People of language, they know how to do that one. But for us, for easy recitation, this smaller noon is placed in the text of the Holy Quran. We can find here, and those copies of the Holy Quran which are printed in other countries. Okay, for easy recitation, and this is called noon qutni in some places. For example, in subcontinent, India, Pakistan, and other countries, it is called technically noon qutni. So another issue is that what's the meaning of noon qutni? Qutn is basically is the name of wool. And this wool is one explanation is given to that qutn, why it's called noon qutni, though this is not, this explanation is not found in Arabic Tarteel books, Tajweed books. He said that because there are two sheets of the, the quilt, two sheets, the upper sheet and is a, that second sheet on the beneath. And in between the two sheets, there is a wool, cotton. And this smaller noon is basically in between the two words. When the two words are joining together, then this noon, smaller noon, will be pronounced. Otherwise, it has no significance. For example, in the first, look here, if I say wanada nuhun, if I am making a waqf, wanada nuh, but if I am joining with the next word, then this tanween will be replaced with this smaller noon, a noon as-saghira. Or in Urdu and Persian it is called noon qutni. Qaf, ta, noon, qutn. So we can say that this noon is basically a replacement of tanween, which is on this, the green example. This, look here, is tanween. But in for easiness in the text, this tanween is dropped and this smaller noon is placed there. And then in this way, you can join with the next word. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ ابْنَهُ. Whether in this, the first line, it is impossible. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ, how would you join? So this tanween is made voweled. It's made to start with. So a kasra is given to that one. And this is also one of the common practice in Arabic when they join with a mute letter with the next word. Remember, when this is a common practice, when they join a mute letter or they want to join a mute letter to the next word, they put kasra on that. They remove the sukun, okay, or any form of sukun, and they put a kasra beneath that one. That's why it's not wanuhu nub or nab, but it's say nib. Wanada nuhu nibnahu. And many places we can find here in the Holy Quran. Now, another example here, this is from Surah As-Saffat, that here, bizinatin. Inna zayyana sama ad-dunya bizinatin. Now, bizinatin, this tanween is also producing a mute nasal sound. Now, in this case, if this smaller noon is not placed and you do not know the rule, you cannot join with the next word, al-kawakib. Okay? So, for easy pronunciation, for without explaining it much about or the the background about or the this one, they put a smaller noon in between these two words, bizinatin and al-kawakib. These are the two words. This noon qutni has come in between. It has come in the middle, but in this case, when there is a noon qutni has come, this tanween has been taken off. It cannot be that a word is ending with tanween. You can see tanween and also a smaller noon, that one. This smaller noon is basically replacement of that tanween. Like in this case, you cannot find a smaller noon on that one. But here, this tanween is dropped and smaller noon is produced here. Because bizinatin or nuhun or other words which ends with tanween, if we write them in transliteration or in alphabet, it would be bizinatin, ba, za, ya, noon, ta, and noon, sakin, bizinatin. Okay? but that noon sakin is not written when tanween is there. So we will say bizinati nil kawakib. At the same time, when we are joining together, okay, there should be no slight pause in between the two words. If we say bizinati nil kawakib, that will be wrong. In one go, because we are joining together, this smaller noon has significance and importance only at that time when we are joining two words. If we are making a waqf in between, the whole the point is dropped. So وقالت اليهود عزير. عزير is an ism, a noun, Uzair. And tanween will be dropped when we are joining with the next word. And these are the example in a verse. There are two kinds. Certain example come in between a verse. Some examples where the one verse is ending and the next verse is starting. The Surah Al-Humaza, which we are focusing now in our lesson, has the second example where one verse is ending on a tanween, a letter with tanween, and a next word is starting with a letter without any haraka. And when we are joining two verses, then how it could be done, that will be explained later on. Now we will practice this one. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
ونادى نوح ابنه.
ونادى نوح ابنه.
You see that we are joined together. We have the first word Nuhun and Ibnahu, we have joined in the pronunciation. And in one go, quickly, this replacing tanween, we put smaller noon, we are pronouncing that one with kasra. Okay? Say again. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ ابْنَهُ.
وَنَادَى نُوحٌ ابْنَهُ.
Next one. إِنَّا زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِزِينَةٍ الْكَوَاكِبِ.
إِنَّا زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِزِينَةٍ الْكَوَاكِبِ.
Okay, qalqla. Okay. Okay. Another important point, when two mushaddad letter come together, we have to give the proper emphasis on that one as well. So here in the second word, zayyanna, ya with tashdid and noon with tashdid, and also nasal sound producing 2 seconds for the nasal sound and about 2 seconds about the alif madda. Okay, so please.
إنا زينا السماء الدنيا بزينة الكواكب.
Okay, thank you very much. You do that.
إنا زينا السماء الدنيا بزينة الكواكب.
Okay, jazakumullah. This, there's bigger madda, a little bit more elongation was needed. Okay, so it means that when you think that I'm going to pronounce on certain letters, or certain words where this elongation is needed, then you have to take breath before that. Okay, make your preparation, quick preparation. Okay, next one. وقالت اليهود عزير ابن الله.
وقالت اليهود عزير ابن الله.
Okay, do that please.
وقالت اليهود عزير ابن الله
وقالت اليهود عزير ابن الله.
Okay, good. Now, I told you that there are second example or second kind of this injunction, or when we are joining together, could be when two verses together. Okay, and these are the example: junction of tanween and hamzatul wasl. Hamzatul wasl, which is dropped in joining two words, but when we are starting from that alif, or which is dropped in the, combining two words, then it is pronounced. And there are other rules, inshallah, in forthcoming lessons we will discuss about that one. Now, example of this type of junction in two connecting verses. There are three examples which you can see on the screen. The first one is from Surah Al-Mulk. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. Now this qadirun, basically you can find a smaller noon on that one. Now this smaller noon is the replacement of tanween, which was originally on that word. The question comes when we see this copy of the Holy Quran, then this tanween is placed over that one. But the copies which are printed now, this tanween is replaced with this noon saghira. Now, what is the reason behind that one? Okay, can you please tell me what is the possible reason?
The possible reason is because to make the pronunciation of the tanween easier, the tanween is changed with the nun qutni there, so that it will be easily joined with the next letter after it.
Okay, you have any clue?
Yeah, maybe just because not everybody knows this rule straight away, so that they don't pronounce it wrong. So it's written there.
Okay. The point is that in the previous writings, this smaller noon was placed beneath the hamzatul wasl. The blank alif in the beginning of the next verse, and commonly it was mispronounced all the time. For example, not starting from alladhi, you say nilladhi. As a rule, a word cannot be started with this smaller noon. Okay. This noon only could be pronounced when joining two words. Any word cannot be started with this smaller noon. So that's why they have shifted now this smaller noon to the original where the tanween was there. So this is another easiness for the reciter, or to avoid the common mistake which was unfortunately common. Not caring about that rule, and that's why the copies of the Holy Quran which are printed now, this noon qutni is produced near where tanween was originally placed.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ورتل القرآن ترتيلا